Let's talk about indie pixel art games. They may not have the best graphics, but these games have their own charm, both in art style and gameplay. So, here are the best recent pixel art games, dated from 2023 up to early 2024. A Space for the Unbound is an adventure game set in rural 1990s Indonesia, focusing on mental health themes within a slice-of-life narrative. The narrative, while complex, unfolds clearly and engages players emotionally. Gameplay includes puzzles, mini-games, and exploration, with standout features being the ability to space dive into characters' inner thoughts. As a pixel art game, the graphics are surprisingly nice and feel lively. The game serves as a relaxing getaway if you're looking for simpler games. It's so wholesome that you can even pet every cat you stumble across in the game. Do you like poker? What if we combine poker with roguelites? We get Balatro. It's not your usual poker though, it's a deck-building game with over 150 jokers with different unique abilities. The game has mechanics that will keep you addicted throughout your run. It has varied items, decks, bosses, and combinations that you can try. Adding joker combos is so satisfying in this game. If you're not into card games, you can try it out first. But if you already love card and deck-building games, you will love this game. Small Saga is an underrated JRPG-style game where you play as a rodent living below the streets of London. The theme itself is quite unique, and the pixel art offered in this game is also wonderful. Along with the enjoyable music, the presentation of the game is already solid. The game features solid turn-based battles, and while it has its depth, it's not too complex. The story and writing aren't anything special, aside from the typical revenge trope and the lore of small creatures living in the big world. However, this is one game to consider if you're looking for an unconventional JRPG-style game. Sanabi is an action-adventure game where you're armed with a prosthetic arm to navigate and even use it in combat. The gameplay itself is awesome with its smooth chain hook movement, fluid combat mechanics, and beautiful cyberpunk-themed pixel art graphics. However, the strongest aspect that Sanabi offers is the storyline and plot. The game surprisingly offers heavy dialogue and cutscenes. At first, it may feel like too much, but because the narrative is so good, you will be engaged during your entire playthrough. If you love action-adventure, Sanabi is for you. While the original Bllazblue is fighting games, Bllazblue Entropy Effect is a roguelite game with a heavy emphasis on side-scrolling combat gameplay. While it takes turn into different genre, combat is still the main focus of the game and it shows on the visual. The flashy visuals might be a strong point, or you may not like them as they can sometimes feel like too much. The story is rather basic, but that's not why we're here, right? If you're looking for combat-focused gameplay with various moves, then get this game. Among the other games on this list, Path of Achra may appear the most traditional. However, in terms of the roguelike experience, the game is solid as it modernizes the gameplay to be more fast-paced and easier to get into. I'd say it's a turn-based, broken build simulator. Why? You will spend a good amount of time strategizing your characters and figuring out what to build so your character can become overpowered. There will be a diverse array of builds as you choose your race, character, and religion, with no randomness in the character skills. If you love tinkering with builds and short-run roguelikes, this game is for you. Rusty Retirement is a relaxing idle farming simulator that sits at the bottom of your screen while you do other things. Yup, it's not like other games on the list. It's more like accompanying you while you do your everyday tasks, but in a more fun way. Let's say it's like drinking flavored water. The farming elements include growing crops, producing biofuel, and deploying robots to automate your work even more. There's also a focus mode so your crops grow slower, allowing you to focus on your tasks. Well, if you like it, consider adding the game to your work screen. If you're interested in trying a narrative-driven game with puzzles, we have one on the menu. Paper Lily. Chapter 1 is a free game that surprisingly offers a good narrative and puzzle aspect. Additionally, the game features quite effective horror elements, especially considering its pixel art style. Simply put, the game is amazing, with polished puzzle gameplay featuring consequences, attention to detail, memorable characters, and a great mix of horror and comedy. Without spoiling too much, you should play this game anytime, especially since it's free. Voidigo stands out as one of the most enjoyable action roguelite games recently released. In simple terms, the gunfighting is both amazing and deeply satisfying. With a diverse array of weapons and power-ups, each run feels fresh and exciting. Coupled with its vibrant graphics and fluid animations, Voidigo elevates pixel art to the next level. In each run, players can consistently craft powerful builds through trading out several currency or even health. Additionally, each playable character offers a unique gameplay experience, adding depth and replay value to this already solid roguelite.
Always bring your cassette player when adventuring.
One of the best pixel art games back then was the Pokemon series. But sadly, nowadays we don't have Pokemon games with a similar vibe to those on the Game Boy Advance. However, we now have Cassette Beasts, which features its own fusion system to combine two monsters in the game. It's not just a Pokemon clone, it's more like inspired by it. The plot may not be groundbreaking, but it's still quite decent. For anyone who loves Pokemon games and wants to reignite their interest in a similar genre, Cassette Beasts is a must-play. Halls of Torment is a roguelite that embraces old-school aesthetics, with gameplay akin to Vampire Survivors. With its similar genre of horde survival, I think Halls of Torment has an edge over Vampire Survivors with its depth. The game includes many unique characters, skills, an item system that can significantly alter characters, and smoother movement. This is the type of game that will make you sink hours into it with a lot of replayability. So if you love the genre, don't hesitate to buy this game. Bloody Hell is one of the best free games you can get, especially on PC. It's a fast-paced top-down shooter that offers intense action. Whether against hordes of enemies or bosses, it always feels dynamic and satisfying each time, especially with how the walls and floors splatter with blood. One of the standout features of this game is the vast interconnected world that you'll get to explore. Additionally, the music accompanies the game perfectly. With how polished the game is, I don't know why you would skip it, especially if you're a fan of bullet hell. Along with other free games on this list, I also wanted to give Disfigure the props it deserves. It's a top-down shooter survival style game, so the gameplay is familiar. Kill enemies, gain experience, and acquire power-ups. The weapons are varied, as are the perk upgrades. What makes Disfigure so unique compared to the others is the fact that you don't see everything on the screen. There's a field of vision mechanic you can choose with different upsides and drawbacks. Even though it's free, the game is keep updating. Try this game and perhaps consider buying the DLC to support the developer. At first, it just looks like a simple 2D pixel art side-scrolling game. But surprisingly, the game has depth to it. You spend the morning and afternoon diving for fish, and in the evening, you open your restaurant for the night. By morning, you start the cycle again. The game offers a lot of content such as underwater exploration, restaurant management, boss battles, fish farming, upgrading tools, and more. The gameplay loop may be repetitive, but it has enough variety so that we won't get bored. Definitely one of the best indie games of 2023. With its own absurdity in terms of art style, gameplay, and overall presentation, Pizza Tower offers its distinct charms, surprising a lot of people. The game itself is actually a fast-paced 2D platformer that offers amazing level design and boss battles, accompanied by quirky yet catchy music. At first, the controls are tight and require some adjustment. But after that, the fast, stressful, yet fun platforming begins. Pizza Tower isn't known as a difficult game. Sure, you may get stressed in a good way, but it's designed well so anyone can finish it and get satisfaction from it.